Okay, so I am going to go ahead and get us kicked off and started for the night. Faith, would you mind waving at me, or if I start to slow down at all from lag right now? I may not be the only one in the house using Wi-Fi, but they did say they were going to wrap up here shortly. So, all right, so welcome Sherry and Lindsay. Like I said before, the VLSAC does these general council meetings on Monday evenings, just to kind of keep virtual students in the know about what we're working on and things that are coming up that they can get involved in. Tonight, oh, that looks like it's taking a minute to load. There we go. So we start off just kind of doing a brief overview of what the agenda is for this evening. Under business are things that we're going to just be informatively kind of going over. Under discussion is where we're going to be kind of having more of a back and forth, hopefully getting some different student input. And then voting, we need general council attendees, so that's you guys, in attendance for us to hold votes so that we can move initiatives forward. So we have one thing that we're looking to hopefully get a vote on tonight. And then the last things on this list are if we, from the last meeting to now, had anything that we had tabled, we would list it here, and then also just some upcoming dates to be aware of. Executive Council, is there anything that should or shouldn't be on the agenda? Just let me know before I go to the next slide. Okay, so it's still the beginning of the semester, so I just wanted to touch on some of the things that the VLSAC kind of got started, put in the works for virtual students to help save them money, things that have been running for a little while that even now we're not particularly in charge of, but they still run on for virtual students, so we want to make sure that you're aware. So the first one is the bookstore discounts. The bookstore discounts is something that is available to virtual students just by sharing your schedule. When you go in, you need to buy certain items, your books. I have actually brought up the list. Give me one moment to switch to that. This is the list. It's taken a minute to load. There we go. Of what actually is sponsored from the VLSAC to get some discounts for virtual students from the HACC bookstores. So I'm going to scroll through it slowly. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you've had enough time to kind of look this over. The bookstore expanded this list last fall to add in things like, I think the Apple Watch, things like that. And so this is available just from when you're doing your shopping for your supplies at the bookstore, just by showing that you are you are currently enrolled in online classes. The next item I have on here is the access code reimbursement program. And so for a selected group of courses, the VLSAC has a list given if the course requires materials that wouldn't normally be needed on an on-campus course, but are needed for an online version of that course, we cover the cost of those through the access code reimbursement program. So sometimes that's different software that's used for online classes. Sometimes that would be different online textbooks. So there's a list of that. I'm going to put the link in the chat box. There's current information about our access code reimbursement program on our website here. And so there's usually a deadline for close to the end of the semester where you just have to submit your schedule, receipts, and a document just filling out what courses that you had taken so that that can all be submitted and turned in time for reimbursement. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the Executive Council elections for the VLSAC for academic year 2018 to 2019. At the end of this spring, it looks like the VLSAC is going to be losing a few of its executive council members. And so we're just kind of wanted to always put this here and let attendees know that these positions look to be opening up. So we're always interested in seeing if there are some students who want to get involved, start to learn some of the things that we do, and maybe want to come into one of those positions for next semester. We're looking to have some of that all figured out before May so that we can make that transition and announcement before finals week. And the last thing on this slide is the Virtual Learning Award Ceremony, which is going to be on May 5th this year. And just we want to keep everyone updated on what our progress is and getting this all planned out. This is a big to-do for us every spring. This is the third year of having an award ceremony for virtual students. And this year we've chosen our venue to be at Student Cooper on Harrisburg campus. And then also we've just started discussing some of the award categories and getting some of the information needed for that. So just, you know, every week we're going to be giving just a brief update where we're at with this. And we're excited to kind of ramp up excitement about it. I didn't know if some of the ladies who had been in that meeting for categories wanted to chat at all, or I can go to the next slide.
Sarah, I don't know if Sarah wants to talk. So if you do, Sarah, just like jump in. So briefly last year we did count 10 categories where we did 9 categories for students and 1 for faculty. We wanted to keep the same idea with the 10 categories. It flowed very nicely last year. So the only thing we wanted to do was maybe combine 2 categories that we currently have and then add 2 more. It's still in discussion, and we will give an update as we get closer to that time. Sarah, anything I missed?
No, I think you're good. Yeah, I think we're going to keep it pretty similar as last year. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. And so it's still kind of the beginning of the semester. We're working out some of the kinks and getting everyone oriented to how we're going to be doing these meetings. So I keep it in the current business. We're going to be doing marketing reports and budget reports. As of right now, marketing would be from our communications chair, Sarah, and our budget report would come from our finance chair, Gracie. I'm not sure if you guys wanted to chime in on any of that today. You don't have to, but I was just going to explain what they briefly looked like. So we're going to just be giving sort of an update on how we're getting the word out about the VLSAC and what we're doing and how that's reaching our audience in our marketing budget. And then also because we come to the general council and get advice from our student body on how to use different parts of our budget, we like to keep you updated on what is being spent and how it's being spent pretty routinely. So that's what a budget report would cover. But really, that's all the informative sort of quick business items I wanted to kind of bring up or go over in the beginning of the meeting. I know I breezed through some of that pretty quickly. If anyone wanted to chime in or ask questions, or Emily, if you had anything that you wanted to bring up tonight, please, by all means, feel free to let us know. Emily, I'm not sure I can hear you. Okay. Well, let us know if you can get it working. By all means, we'll move on for now. So, Lindsay and Sherry, I just wanted to kind of briefly discuss what this looks like. We usually ask to have like 3 attendees in the meeting before we can really hold a vote. And right now, the marketing and printing budget is not a hugely crucial item, but we are looking to spend most of the beginning of the semester looking over how we can best be letting students know about their virtual student government and the things that we bring to the table to make their student life experience a little bit better, help them afford things for their classes and things like that. And then to do that, we're going to be requesting an overall budget to cover the rest of the fiscal year so that we can get some different prizes, swag items, and also put out information and brochures, posters, and et cetera. So that's kind of what this item would look like. We're probably not going to be able to hold the vote on that tonight, but it will probably be tabled and brought up again in the next meeting next Monday. And I do feel like I'm breezing through a lot of this really fast. So anybody, please stop me. If I am, we can slow down a bit. But I did put the voting here before we would get into some of the discussion items. So this will probably be the lively part of the evening, or I hope so. Don't let me be the only one talking. So there are 3 different things that I wanted to kind of just go back and forth on, have a dialogue. Mostly because we're looking to bring in these are things that we're hoping to offer for students and keep students aware of. So we'll just start with them one by one, and I'll kind of explain them as we go. So under item 1, the guest speaker topics. So next week, we have our first guest speaker coming into our general council meeting. His name is Jason B. He's HACC staff in IT and tech, and he's going to be going over some of the different technologies and resources that are available to virtual students. So we're excited to have that and be able to offer some of that sort of information and resources to students via our meetings. So next week is kind of the pilot or the debut, but we're also just kind of interested in what students might think they'd like to learn about too, so that we can try to figure out who might be interested in coming and speaking during our meetings as a guest speaker. So we've had different ideas before. I'm not sure if maybe Sarah or Faith remembers some of the ones we talked about last week a little better than I do. But I just kind of wanted to open the floor, see what everyone's ideas were in regards to inviting other people in to speak and kind of give us some useful information that would be relevant to online students.
I don't want to be like a mic hog over here, but I don't know what all Jason's going to go over. I know it's technology, and that's like really like an open field. But I was thinking, since a lot of students can't make it to campus to the library, maybe someone from the library who deals strictly with our virtual library, how to use it, how to search for articles and documents, along that line, how to navigate our online library. I know I struggled with it. I mean, oh my gosh, you can get lost in that database. So that's what I'm coming up with. Maybe someone from the library.
Well, 1, definitely not a mic hog. 2, thank you. I actually really like that idea. Because you're right, I've had a lot of trouble trying to navigate this. It's almost like too big when you get out there on the web in this virtual way of looking at the library. And I know that they do. I've had library, assistance before and from home, so maybe we can tap into resources like that.
Sweet. I mean, the library is like one of those things where like when you go on YouTube and you look at one video, then it leads to another and another. Like you just get lost in the database. Like that's how I feel. Like I go for one thing and I end with another. I mean, there's so much interesting information, but maybe just how to navigate it, how to narrow your searches, and how can you get the most out of it. So, yep.
Emily just mentioned then in the chat that we have maybe a good idea of who we could contact at the library. And actually, I think was the staff member that helped us in one of my courses online that was able to give us a lot of information about that. So thanks for reminding me of her name. And I'm going to jot that with my notes here. As for Lindsay and Sherry, if there's anything you guys want to throw out there, things that you're interested in kind of hearing more about at HACC or just for virtual students, by all means, we're just kind of going back and forth on what we could look for to bring to these meetings.
Lindsay, I think something might be wrong with your microphone because I'm not sure about everyone else, but I can't hear you at the moment.
Are you guys able to hear me at all now?
Yep.
Okay. It's just,
Yes, we can.
okay. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Bucknell program. I don't know if you heard of it at all through HACC, but what it basically is, I went through it this summer. You go through 2 different interviews through HACC. You meet different HACC advisors, and if you go through those and you complete them, you go to a 6-week summer program at Bucknell University. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bucknell at all, but it's like a really, really, really good school. And so if you complete the 6 weeks and apply to transfer with Bucknell and HACC, they will give you a full ride. And so I think that's really important because there's 6 people that go every summer. I haven't heard of any virtual students from HACC being able to go on that. I don't know how advertised it is. So David Satterley would be a really good contact to see if, we could have virtual students come and present that. But I could also lead you to resources from Bucknell if you want to have someone from Bucknell also talk about it. I don't know what.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of information in terms of scholarships and different opportunities for students that are transferring that could definitely be a really good idea to bring and talk about at these meetings. And did you say that you did go to the 6-week program over the summer, Lindsay?
Yeah, I did. I went from, it was June 8th until the end of July. And basically what you do is you took 2 summer courses. There were 3 selections you could take from. It was a psychology of attraction course, a human biology course, and a statistics course. And I took the psychology and statistics. And so it's really intense. Like it's almost 6 weeks and you learn like it's the full class pretty much. But if you do well, they give you mentors and they help you through the program. And when you get through it, I'm pretty much at the stage now where I just apply to transfer. And if I get accepted, I get the full ride. But
that's awesome. Congrats on getting that opportunity. Wow.
Thanks. It's through HACC. I mean, I was the student program board co-chair at the Lebanon campus for my first year in HACC. And so that's how I heard about it. But I don't know if I haven't heard anything from virtual campus, any like advertisements to that population of students. And I think that's really important because, I mean, there's virtual students that are definitely capable and have so much leadership experience and potential, but I don't know if it's being tapped into properly. And so I think it would be really cool to see more advertisement or even having Satterley come.
No, I think that's an awesome point to make. I definitely know that. I mean, I've always been kind of blended online and on campus. So whereas I did see an email about that, and I think from the gentleman that you mentioned, David Satterley, with an email that mentioned his name. That sounds fairly familiar to me. But it could have been more related to my association with the on-campus courses rather than that. So it's definitely something to look into and make sure that, virtual students are aware that they can do that. And we're all about especially offering opportunities for students, virtual students, to get leadership like skills and experience. And so just the fact that we're kind of looking and expanding what opportunities they have more visibility to, I think that's really a good thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, that was a really good thing to bring up because I'm someone who has never taken a class on campus. I've been strictly virtual, and you are right. I just realized once you brought it up, I haven't really seen advertisements for programs that will help you transfer to a four-year university. And I definitely haven't ever heard of something like as great as like that Bucknell transfer program. But yeah, that's a really good thing to point out. Thank you.
Yeah, I took a lot of good notes on that, Lindsay. Thank you so much for that suggestion.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy. And if you guys have any questions, Emily has my email, but I can give my email to you guys. And I can get David Satterley's contact information as well.
As a side note, this is what makes me so HACC proud, like to hear these types of stories and knowing this is available to HACC students. Like this, it's completely amazing. I love it. As
Yeah,
a side
Lindsay,
note,
you're going to have to let us know how that goes as you pursue down the transfer, line and everything, and get that acceptance letter so that we can kind of have like a huge cheer you on thing. Because now I'm really stoked to hear, someone that reached out to us and came to one of our meetings is like out doing such great things. So, congrats to you. And we're hoping to hear back about how that all goes.
I'll definitely keep you guys in contact for sure. I appreciate all your support. We'll see. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm working on getting letters of rec and working on the common application now. So it'll be a little bit, but yeah, I'll definitely be in touch. Thank you for your support.
Awesome. Anytime.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take those two suggestions, library and some of the other like scholarship transfer opportunities and the Bucknell program from Lindsay. And I have a good note. I'm not going to rely on Faith as my note taker sometimes. I'm going to run with that, I think, this week. And then, so I'm going to move ahead to kind of the next item on here. So we have a little bit of time to discuss this too. And I just wanted to explain what Family Fun Nights is. So the idea of the VLSAC being able to offer, sort of things that are of value and benefit to our virtual student community. The on-campus SGA or student governments, they tend to have a lot of on-campus events. And since we work from home and we take our classes from home, sometimes that's not always what virtual students can be a part of. So with Family Fun Nights, we also acknowledge that, or with virtual students, we also acknowledge that the average age is somewhat higher than, students attending classes on campus. And that can be because of full-time jobs, that can be because of families, and we acknowledge that and recognize that. So when we kind of brainstormed what we could do for this demographic and for these online students, we were thinking, what do families want to be able to go do, and what can we help them, be able to take their families out and do? So we were looking at fun, events and venues that we could maybe help sponsor part of the costs to have HACC students attend for like a fun night out. So things that were in the works or like we were trying to talk about were, snow tubing at Ski Round Top, or, activities at Spooky Nooks Sports and, Sky Zone trampoline parks and things like where we're just kind of trying to, brainstorm fun activities that, families can go do together, and how can we be a part of making that easier for the virtual student who's already got a lot on their plate, especially if, they have a big family or they are working full time. So we know all about multitasking as virtual students, and any way that we can make some of that a little easier, we were hoping to do. So that was just the brainstorming behind Family Fun Nights. So we were just kind of, that's what we haven't had everything worked out with some of those names that I kind of threw out there. And we're probably not going to be able to get most of that done this semester. But it's just something that if the VLSAC can start to build those relationships with organizations outside of HACC and get all of that process started, we'd be in a good place to help virtual students, as we get out of this semester. And so if anyone has any suggestions, or, they know a place that would be open to helping, like, foster a good event for students and their families, that's kind of the discussion that I just wanted to bring this up in and kind of have.
What about in the spring, the Barnstormers or the Revolution or the Senators when they start playing?
So that's all baseball, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's definitely something that we could look into. What we're running into with the planning and how to have all of that kind of in the works, we might run into a pinch where we can't get it all finalized within this semester. But that's definitely something that we can kind of take a peek at and see if we can figure out. Barnstormers is Lancaster. Senators is York, right?
No,
Senators
Corey.
is Harrisburg. Revolution is York.
And I love me a good Revs game versus the Lancaster Barnstormers. It is always a good game. So, Sherry, I think that is a darn good idea.
Me too. I hate their cowbells.
Oh, come on. If I could do a Christopher Walken accent and ask for some more cowbell. What are there other baseball teams that I should be aware of too, or just those three?
I think centrally. Oh, go ahead, Sherry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. If someone calls York Revolution, Reed Gunderson would be the person to talk to. He's usually really big into working with groups and will give them really good pricing. I mean, he's come way down and will work on ticket prices, or he'll throw in the hot dog and the drink or whatever. Or if it's something with kids involved, he'll make sure that they can get playground passes, and you just keep working him for the price and he'll do it.
Yeah, I haven't been up to the stadium up there. I've been to the one in Lancaster for the Barnstormers, and I think there were some other events that were, yeah, I saw that, Faith. But for other events other than baseball, so come on. But yeah, that's good that you had like a name out there for that. Do you know, have you worked with them before, Sherry?
Yeah, I'm in HR where I work full time, so I'm always having to reach out to different entities. But actually, when my daughter was in college, she worked at the Revolution, so she knows Reed from going to school with him and working there. So he's real quick to want to help.
Oh, that's awesome. See, that's what I love too about like working and having conversations with all the different virtual students with different backgrounds and stuff. So, see, that's I just love that. Thank you so much for providing kind of a name that I can kind of look up and see how to contact. And the baseball thing, since all of those teams are so centrally located to all of our campuses, that could be a really fun thing at HACC too, like the different campuses and everyone supporting their own teams, and the HACC students going to different games. Not every HACC student's going to be cheering for the same team, which is kind of fun.
Just leave your cowbell home.
I will, I promise. No, I really like that. I'm good if that's the only one I take away from this meeting, because we're just still in the very preliminary process of thinking these things out, and they do take time. So there's no guarantee that we could get anything completely finalized this semester. But just even creating that relationship, and I mean, you guys seem to know baseball a lot more than I do. So how long is a baseball season? Does it extend into the summer at all?
April to September.
Oh, fantastic. We've got time.
Have you guys ever done a bus trip before? I know that's something that the Lebanon campus has done in the past, and they've had some trouble filling it in the spring. So I don't know if that could be something that you guys could co-work with them on, or maybe just host one of your own.
Yes. Fun fact. I actually played around with creating a document, what's called a memorandum of understanding, which is just a longer title for a memo, basically. But it was like, we did see the on-campus groups, SPB, which is Student Programming Board, and the SGA, or Student Government Associations, that were doing different bus trips. And I'm sure because we're all technically enrolled even as virtual students to it on brick and mortar campus, we get those emails. We were hoping to offer them assistance by promoting it and doing online ticket sales, because we've been contacted by virtual students that can't get to campus to buy the tickets. And so if we could partner with the different groups on campus when they're doing a bus trip, we could almost kind of magnify the amount of students, maybe help them fund for a second bus, because they're going to get a lot more people interested if it's talked about and promoted online, and if tickets are held for sale online. And so if that's something that the VLSAC could help sort of facilitate, that's definitely something we were interested in. I'm glad you reminded me of that. We have routine meetings with the different on-campus groups, usually once a month, and I'll try to bring that up and try to hammer down, like, maybe if they already have something that they're working to plan for this semester, maybe we can still help and get that information out to virtual students a little bit, with a little bit louder volume.
Yeah, that was another really good idea, Lindsay. I relate to the thing with buses and virtual learning, because there was a bus trip that HACC had, I think it was a couple of months ago, to go to New York, I believe it was. And I couldn't make it on campus to get the tickets with my schedule, and I ended up not being able to go, which was very disappointing. But yeah, if we could have a way to have tickets be purchased online, that would be a huge lifesaver.
And the tickets are really affordable. And a lot of the times what I've seen with these bus trips is they are do as you please for the most part. You get your ticket to go, you have a ride there, and a time to get back on the bus. And I think a lot of online students would love that opportunity to be able to do that. And it's usually on a weekend, right?
Yeah, when we did it at the Lebanon campus, it was fall and spring chairs. So in the fall, we did the New York trip, and it was pretty simple. You just contact a bus rental company, rent the bus for the day, and then make sure it's handicap accessible as well. And then from there, you just sell the number allotted of tickets, and then once it's full, then you don't sell anymore. But it's a super simple event, and it's something, everybody loves to go to New York or DC. We did a spring trip to DC. That was more difficult trying to sell tickets for, because I think a lot of people go there for school trips, like high school and stuff. But I know for sure, like in New York, when I was in, it always sold out for the 2 or 3 years in a row now. So it's definitely something that you guys could try out, and I could, point you to any direction that you guys need.
Thank you. I'm going to have to grab your email from Emily so that I can email you on that. But yeah, that's really good. I like both of these ideas. So with those notes already taken down, I'm going to jump down to item 3, which is just the talk about the virtual silent auction. And I'm going to actually let Faith explain this. She's way more knowledgeable about the Day of Giving silent auction than I am. And sorry to throw that at you, Faith, but you can be a mic hog and explain how this all works and what kind of items that you usually see, if we were going to maybe talk about what different items might be something people would recommend.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm used to this being thrown at me. It's all good. So, April 18th of this year will be HACC Day of Giving. That's going to be going on at all campuses. Each campus is doing their own thing, raising money for emergency funds, scholarships, anything going on campus for student life. VLSAC partners with Virtual Learning to do a silent auction, all online. So what we do is we gather items from local businesses, corporations, lightly used items, and we auction them off online through silent auction. And all our money that we raise on the VLSAC goes towards our 2 scholarships. It's hard for us to what we allocate funds for our scholarships. So this is a way for us to put back into these scholarships for students, online students. So last year we collected all different kinds of stuff between York Revolution tickets, pottery, it's so much. A lot of independent consultants like Perfectly Posh, 31, LuLaRoe, anything of that nature that you could auction off that has a value that people will pay for. So far, we have York Revolution, and again, they're giving us some tickets, typically a couple T-shirts, collector's items, and the Senators. I got them. I don't know what exactly we're getting from them. This is the first year we're getting some stuff from them. Now it is time to hit local businesses and anyone who would be interested in donating. We had, about 2 years ago, we had someone donate some used bongos, and they actually sold. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. Who wants bongos? I mean, someone has to want bongos. So if you have an idea, that would be awesome. Now, we do have some paperwork that has to be filled out in order for us to auction these items off. All items, thanks to Emily and Missy Elaine Holland from the virtual team, we need all items to Elaine in Whitaker 232 by April 2nd with the paperwork. And when I say paperwork, it's not like pages of work. It's just a paper that says what the item is, what it's worth, and saying that it's being donated. So I can get paperwork to everyone. I know we said last meeting to put that on our D12 page, which I think is a great idea, so that can easily be done, easily accessible. If you cannot get your way to Harrisburg, I am more than willing to meet up with someone or pick something up. Anything is
Me too.
welcome.
I can help with that.
Yes, Corey's good with that in her little beat up car. It's so cute.
I take my dog for the drive.
Yes. And I see Corey has item recommendations. I think that'd be awesome. I can start putting together like a list of maybe some items that would be good auction items. So if anyone has any ideas, that'd be awesome.
I felt like just maybe everyone might know, like, oh, I know, someone who's kind of an independent business owner who might want to, donate something. And you definitely know who did that last semester to give ideas, but we could do that and put an idea list up on D2L too.
Yeah, that would be awesome. People love car washes too, so definitely going to be hitting a lot of local car washes, oil changes. Sarah, were you the one individual? I'm sorry, this is like so long ago, like last semester, about with oil changes. Was that you, or tire rotation? I mean, people always need that. They're willing to pay for that.
No, I have a friend that works in marketing at Hershey Park. So that was my baby, which she had said something about setting everything up. I sent her the paperwork and I'm waiting for her. She's been sick. She had like hardcore the flu pretty much all of January, and she's just now getting back into the kick of things. So I'm gonna email her at some point. But there was. Now I remember. I did email the guy that I bought my first car from, and I bought every car since. And I did email the owner. And they said that usually, I think around March is when they start going through, because I gave him kind of an idea and everything. So hopefully I'll hear something. So they have my email and my phone number. So I might actually walk in and maybe find something out, hopefully.
Sweet. I mean, stuff like that people always like. And Corey, I think it's the Welcome Center. Emily, you would have to speak on that. But I remember I did some intercampus mailing to Elaine, and I just took it there and they took care of it. So yeah, if you can make it to a campus, that'd be great too.
Yeah, for the recording, Emily just mentioned in the chat box that if you do have items that you'd like to donate, and once we get the paperwork online for you to download and fill out, you can turn your item and paperwork into the campus that's closest to you, and the items and paperwork can be in your office mailed to the representative who handles this, which her name is Elaine Holland. So we're just kind of thinking about where you drop that off. I think it is the Welcome Center.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't realize people couldn't see the chat and recording.
Not
So,
always.
Yes. But yes, if you have any questions, please give us an email, VLSAC. I'll put that in the box here, VLSAC, HACC, EDU. And if you're curious as far as what the day of giving is, or if you have any questions, I'm going to post the website there. If you click on that link, for anyone who's on the recording, hack.edu/HACC Foundation. That's going to take you to the HACC Day Giving website, the donor section, and that gives you all information. I mean, it even gives you statistics of how much we raised on campus and what's all going on. So if definitely have a minute, definitely check it out. The numbers are very staggering. And like last week, just in one day, it was over $46,000 that was raised just on campus. So I mean, it is a really huge event that is going on. So if you get a look, oh, I'm sorry, I just posted that to Emily. I'm so sorry, everyone. 1 second.
That's www.hack.edu/HACC Foundation
Thank you, guys.
/HACC/index.cfm.
Thank you. I'm still figuring this out.
It's
but
okay.
Yes.
I only realized our recordings didn't show the chat when last night, so we'll have to be careful with that. But like Faith said, and I just wanted to reemphasize, feel free to ask us any questions you might have. You can email the VLSAC at vlsac@hack.edu, or our advisor, EJ Fox, at hack.edu, and she'll be able to help get you in contact with someone to get that at your campus to get the items mailed to where they need to go. So thanks, Faith, for filling us in on that, because you're right. It's kind of amazing how much can be raised and put towards emergency funds and scholarships for students. And like you said, there's really no way anymore for the VLSAC to contribute to the scholarships that we started that benefit online students. So the only way that funds can be added to those kind of accounts is through fundraising. So this is the one way that we support trying to encourage some growth there with those accounts.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
So I know it's only 7:45, but I'm already at the last slide of the night. We usually hold these meetings for about an hour, and I'm welcome to stick around until 8 o'clock if anyone wants to just chit chat after we get off the recording here. But this is the conclusion of our general council meeting. So we just kind of in brief went over a few things and also had some discussions, got a lot of great ideas from Sherry and Lindsay, and I'm really happy that you guys were able to attend tonight so that you could help us talk through some stuff and give us some awesome things to work on for the week. Feel free to come out next Monday, February 5th, for another meeting. Starts at 7 p.m. here on Zoom. You can use the same link or meeting ID to log in. And next week we have a guest speaker. So tell your friends, let them know if they're interested in figuring out some more technology resources for virtual students, and just kind of a run through of some of that information. We'll have someone here speak on that next Monday. And actually, because we have 2 attendees, I'm going to do the same thing we did last week. So your emails were captured when you logged in tonight. Instead of doing a random drawing, I'm going to be having an email sent to you guys about some VLSAC items. And you can take your pick of what swag item you might like to have just for attending. We appreciate your attendance, obviously all the good ideas, and we're happy that you guys can make it out tonight, spend some time with us, that we could hear your voices too. So thanks for being a part of Virtual's Voice. And also, last thing on this slide is keep your eye on your HACC mail, because all our updates go out to student emails. And specifically, the closest event that is going on is going to be an on-campus event that we're going to basically televise online, which is the business club's Hack Tank event. So think Shark Tank, and we will be able to get some information out to you via HACC mail on that. So thanks again, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks for joining tonight, Sherry and Lindsay. Thank you for all the input. Hope to see you next week.
Yeah, thank you for all the thank you for all of the suggestions. Those are really, really good.
I'll be back. I miss
Yay.
this stuff, so I'll see you guys next week then. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Glad to have you here.